Welcome to a realm where personal growth meets expansive spirituality and where we're not just scratching the surface. We're diving deep, widening our perspectives, and having a darn good time doing it. This is the Enlightened Podcast, and I am your host, Jen Hamilton. You'll enjoy an infusion of motivation, empowerment, and inspiration that will resonate in every aspect of your life. Expect captivating stories, heartfelt musings, and my own personal experiences. But that's not all. I'm bringing awe-inspiring individuals to the table, so get ready to meet some remarkable souls whose wisdom and stories will leave you spellbound. No topic is off limits here. Brace yourself for raw authenticity, unfiltered vulnerability, and yes, the occasional splash of explicit language. We're delving into the realms of the esoteric, mystical, and the woo-woo, unafraid to explore the extraordinary. So if you are ready to venture beyond the surface, to explore the depths of your soul, and to awaken the magic of life, if your heart says yes, then hit that play button and let the Enlightened Podcast guide you on this remarkable expedition. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Enlightened Podcast. I'm your host, Jen, here for a Soul'o Snippet today, and we are talking about values. Now, if you've been listening to me, if you know anything about the work that I do, you know that I bang on a lot about values because it is so important to have an understanding of what our values are in life, because our values are going to be the catalyst for the changes that we need to make in our life, but also the vehicle in which is going to take us on the direction of our life's path, of our journey of life, to take us to the places that we want to go. When we know our values, when we understand our values, we know what it is that we're here to live for, because it's what we enjoy doing the most. And it's so simple to find out what your values are. I actually have a free resource for this on my website, and obviously that's linked in the show notes below. So if you jump onto my website, it's on the front page. It's called Visualize Your Values. It's free. Download it. It includes an ebook and a meditation if you want to discover yours that way. But we can do a bit of an exercise now, because I always like to give you something to take away from these Soul'o snippets. So the best thing to do is, get nice and comfortable, whether it's later on today, before you go to bed tonight, or when you first wake up tomorrow morning, and just start to visualize what it is that you love about your life. What are the things in your life that you know bring you joy, bring you pleasure, bring you excitement, bring you contentment? So starting to look for patterns during this visualization of the things that you're doing over and over again that are bringing you all of this joy. So if you're finding in your visualization that you enjoy having an active lifestyle, if you like exercising, if you like eating really delicious, nourishing food, that says to me that you have a high value of health. If you enjoy family time, being with your partner, being with your children, being with your friends, being with your colleagues, and surrounded by people, it tells me that you value connection and companionship. If you were to say that you love reading books and having downtime and, relaxing and, making sure you have a massage every fortnight, or, doing yoga classes, what that says to me is that you value peace. And so generally we try to work with the top 3 values that we hold in life. Now, remembering that we have many, many, many values over the different areas of our lives. So you might have values in your relationship, values in how you parent, values in the space of how you work in your career or your business. So we're just talking about very broad and general values at the moment. So when you start to dive into the repetitive patterns that you have in your visualization, when you start to visualize your best day of your life, the best week that you could have in your life, and your best life in general, when you start to notice these patterns recurring over and over again of the things that you're doing and enjoying, you start to go, well, hang on a second. If I'm enjoying so much of this, why am I not doing this every single day? Why am I not embodying more health? Why am I not embodying more peace? There's so many different values that we can have out there, and it's a really, really beautiful thing to be able to explore what your values are, and then have a practice to take inspired action to work towards incorporating those values every single day into your life. There is 0 point knowing your values without taking inspired action and bringing them into your life so that you can live by those values. Otherwise, what's the freaking point? So just for a moment, imagine living a life that is infused with purpose every single day, where the decisions that you make and the actions that you take are the echo of your deepest values. So, this is the essence of living a liberated life. It's not just about making choices off the cuff or unconscious choices. It's about making choices that truly reflect who you are and what it is that you stand for, what it is that you do want to experience in your lifetime. Now, look, this doesn't mean that challenges don't arise. And one of the things that I want to speak into today is conflict. Now, it's not just internal conflict, I'm talking about external conflict. So, conflict with another person. I want you to remember this: conflict is misaligned values. I'm going to say that again. Conflict is misaligned values. When you are in conflict with another person, it's because generally you are fighting to be right about something that you wholeheartedly believe in or that you're in disagreement with the other person. Now, everybody has their own view of the world. Everybody has their own set of values that they live by, and everyone has their own inner dialogue and their sole purpose in this lifetime to have their own individual experience here. So, of course, there's going to be conflict that arises because we're not all built the same. We don't all want the same things in life. We don't always have the same view of the world of other people. And I know this personally in my own journey. I have been vegan for just over 3 years, and that is a very, very strong value of mine, to do no harm to another thing intentionally. And so I have come up against so many people that want to challenge my values because it's a very different value to what they have. I hold really firm in this value. There is no wavering in this value for me because it's something that is so dear to my heart, that is something that means so much to me, that I stop making choices for myself and start making choices for other sentient beings. And it's interesting when I tell people this or I have this conversation, it's really interesting to notice where people want to argue about certain things around veganism, even though, I mean, I don't want to argue with anyone about it. I'm here for doing my thing, living my life according to my values. And I'm not here to try and change people's minds directly and have them see only my way. I encourage them to look into what they value and whether they're living in alignment with that. But it's certainly not my intention to go out there and push a specific agenda. And sure, there are other people that have a vegan lifestyle that is their agenda. Especially when I first became vegan, for the first year, I was quite an angry vegan. I was disappointed that, people would make choices around harming animals that weren't in alignment with my values. And there was a lot of work that was done to come out the other side of just full, acceptance and surrender of other people's values. And that was a really powerful experience for me to have, and, like I said, we're all on a journey. Values-based living is not a destination. It is a journey, and your values are going to shift and they're going to change and they are going to be fluid. But when you have awareness of your values, when you are conscious of them, that is where you're living a conscious life. Sometimes your values are going to be about you standing in your truth, and they're going to be wildly against the grain. This is also where conflict can arise as well, because when two people are so wildly opposing in their values and their beliefs, it's going to create tension. And all we want to do is live in alignment with our truth, really, at the end of the day. What we believe about ourselves, our thought processes, our conditioning becomes our view of the world. And so if we're living in alignment with our values and someone has a different set of values, in fact, the opposite set of values, and there could be conflict that arises because you have two different sets of values. So when you can understand that anytime you're in conflict with another person, maybe check in with yourself and ask yourself, what is it that you're valuing so much that you're essentially fighting for or having to defend? And what is the other person valuing so much that you can then take a step back and just acknowledge and respect their values and their view of the world, and that you don't necessarily have to be in conflict over it. You can have opposing values to someone and still remain grounded and content with your life. So I do invite you to head over to my website and download a copy of Visualize Your Values. There is, like I said, a meditation and an ebook that goes with it. It is totally free. It is my gift to you, and it's going to support you on your journey of living an authentic life, living in the fullest expression of your truth, living so wildly free and liberated because you know who you are and you are an expression of your fullest self. Anyway, my love, that is it for today's Soul'o Snippet. I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into values and in conflict as well. As always, it has been a joy and a privilege to be able to share this space with you. So stay inspired, stay bold, stay in your truth. And until next time, live wholeheartedly and unapologetically aligned with your values. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you love the Enlightened podcast, and the biggest compliment you can give me is subscribing to this podcast, sharing it, and leaving a rating and review. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @JenHamiltonOfficial, and the podcast handle is enlightened_podcast. You can also find the video version on YouTube on my channel. Just search Enlightened and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a beautiful day and enjoy living the enlightened journey of life.